Eggplant. Don't knock it till you tried it. I know there's some people that knock on it. Or I'm going to show you something delicious you can do with it. I've got a hot pan of vegetable oil with a little bit of toasted sesame oil. Oh, you can already start to hear that sizzle. Love that sound. Squeezing a little bit of those bitter juices out of the eggplant. What we have is some eggplant that's just been salted for just a little while, just to let some of the bitterness make its way out. And we're sauteing that in a mixture of, got some vegetable oil and toasted sesame oil. Do that a little sauce. Can you already smell the sesame? I know I can. To that, we're going to add a little bit of chili pepper. This is a Fresno chili I got from my friends over here at Rusty Plow Farm. I'm just going to take the end off of that. I'm going to run my knife down the middle. We're going to save some of this for later. We're going to remove some of those seeds out of there. There's a lot of heat in those seeds and in those ribs, the membrane of the pepper. So that's going to remove a little bit of the heat, but still maintaining a lot of the flavor. All right? And I'm just going to slice it here lengthwise. Don't worry, these are not ghost chilies or scorpion chilies or anything like that, but it is going to add a nice little spice, little kick on the back of your palate. I want to go ahead and get it into the dish now. Oh, look at the beautiful color. The contrast between the eggplants and those chilies is just so beautiful. Okay, let's talk a little bit about eggplant. Now, an eggplant is a vegetable that originated in Asia and eventually made its way outwards. I've often thought of eggplant as being something Italian, because we are going to be making an Italian preparation of eggplant later. I don't know, maybe Marco Polo might have taken it with him back to Italy along with the spaghetti noodles. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not a historian. I'm a chef. It is of the nightshade family. Does anybody know of any other nightshades? Anybody familiar? So nightshades include things like tomatoes, peppers, and even potatoes. Technically, it is a fruit because it does have seeds inside of it. It grows very much like a tomato or a pepper, kind of hanging off of a bushing vine plant, if you will. It goes by another name in Europe. Does anybody know what other name eggplant goes by? It goes by the name aubergine, or aubergine. One of the things I've always wondered is why is it called eggplant? Because this doesn't look like an egg to me. Look at those varieties there. Does that look like an egg? Absolutely it does. So what we consider eggplant today looks very different from the eggplant that would have been seen several hundred years ago. So the variety you're seeing here, and the pictures that you're seeing here are from Baker's Creek Heirloom seeds. They're a provider of heirloom vegetable seeds, and they have a wide variety of eggplants. In fact, I think they have somewhere around 50 different varieties of eggplants. Yeah. Who knew that there were so many varieties of eggplant? I thought there was an eggplant, right? They sure are pretty, aren't they? The first dish I'm making is called Nasu Miso. It's a Japanese preparation of eggplant. Nasu is Japanese for eggplant, and Miso is Japanese for miso. Just that easy. And we'll be adding the miso in just a little bit. And the sauce that I'm making for this is super, super easy. We're going to start out with a little bit of sugar. That'll help to cut some of that bitterness in the eggplant. Some soy sauce. I tend to use the low sodium or light soy sauce. I like to be able to control how much sodium is going into my food. Then we also have some mirin, which is a sweetened rice cooking wine, available here locally. And then also some cooking sake. Equal parts of each of those four ingredients. Really super easy. And we're just going to give that a good little stir. Starting to get some nice color on this eggplant, starting to soften up a little bit, so we're just going to go ahead and add the sauce. We're just going to let that cook down for just a little bit. Now, as I had mentioned before, I had the eggplant resting in this colander here. So what I did was I diced the eggplant and put it in this colander to let it drain. Because one thing that people tend to not like about eggplant is the bitterness. Sometimes they have a little bit of a bitter taste or an aftertaste to it. And one of the ways you can help to alleviate that is by putting it in a colander like this and hitting it with a little bit of kosher salt. Salt is more than just, I say this in all my demonstrations and all my classes, it's more than just your typical herb or spice or other things in your spice cabinet. It is a chemical, it is a mineral, and it is a compound that makes chemical reactions take place. And in particular here, it changes the pH balance on the outside of this vegetable to allow more of the moisture to come out. And so that will help to coax out some of that bitter liquid, and so we're left with just the delicious flavor of the eggplant. As you can see it being built over here in this pan, we're letting that liquid cook down just a little bit. Is anybody here familiar with miso paste? Somewhat. So this is a container of miso paste right here. This is actually the variety of miso that's available here locally at our local mega marts. What miso is it's a fermented product made with soybeans and a particular bacterium called koji. It is a bacterium that helps to break down and ferment the soy product to make this delicious paste. And what that does is the fermentation process produces that very rich, not only the color, but the rich umami flavor. And what I'm doing is I just have a little bit of the miso paste and just some plain water. And I'm just doing that to dissolve the miso. Add that delicious miso paste to the party, just so we can heat through and bring all those flavors together. That's going to add such a depth of flavor and that rich umami. Or as I like to say, umami, can I have another bowl? It's a food pun. I just can't help myself. To that, we're just going to garnish it with a little bit of green onion. I'll just slice it at a little bit of an angle here. Just it presents nice and pretty. Yeah, a little bit of a garnish here, some green onions. Looks nice. We're going to throw a little toasted sesame seeds over there as well. Does that look delicious or what? Yeah. Facebook? Don't you wish you were here? For the eggplant parmesan, we're going to make a really quick and easy tomato sauce. We've got a little bit of blended oil in the pan. We're going to add a little bit of diced onion to that pan. A little bit of fresh chopped garlic. I do tend to like a little bit of spice in my tomato sauce, so we do have some of this chili pepper left over that we can still use. Just going to give a little bit of a choppy chop on this Fresno chili pepper, available right here at the farmer's market this morning. Here we go. I'm going to add some crushed tomatoes. If you have any canned tomatoes from last year you're trying to use up until you make this year's batch, it'd be a great way to use them. Now for another layer of flavor, and again, getting back into that umami thing, that fifth flavor, that richness. We don't always associate umami with Italian food, but there is umami to be had there, and one of the great ways to add it is with what's in this container right here, and that's balsamic vinegar. Tomatoes as well have umami in them as well. And that's really all there is to it, to the tomato sauce. We're going to serve that along with the eggplant, just kind of as a dip or a garnish. We're going to be putting together what I call a 3-station breading process. Flour, eggs, and then panko breadcrumbs. You could use Italian breadcrumbs. I like the texture of the panko, personally, even though I did not leave it whole. Sometimes, depending on how I'm using it, I will like to throw the panko breadcrumbs into a food processor and run it for a little while just to grind it down a little bit, just to give it a little bit more of a fine texture. So we need to crack some eggs. You could add some milk or some heavy cream to this if you like. And you can't really call it eggplant parmesan without any parmesan, right? So we do have a nice little block here. You can even see it right here on the side. It says it right there, Parmesan Reggiano. Parmesan Reggiano. Really bad Italian accent. I don't know why I have to go like this whenever I do a really bad Italian accent. All right. So we're going to just take this little microplane grater here, zester. Rub some of that in there. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh herbs. Again, you can find some herbs here at the farmer's market as well. I've got some fresh basil. If you have the time, use that too. See what else? Another food pun, sorry. If you have the time. Don't worry. When you watch it on the YouTube channel later, you get it. You can use dried herbs as well, but it's the time of year where you can find all sorts of delicious fresh herbs. Throw those fresh herbs into the panko breadcrumbs. We've got the eggplant that's been salted and then gone through a 3-station breading, flour, egg wash, and panko breadcrumbs, and now they're over here in the pot getting all nice and happy. Got that bubbly pot of oil. Doesn't that look beautiful? I think so. I think it looks delicious. Woo! Yeah. I hope you enjoy the rest of your experience here at the 2018 Union County Farmers Market Festival. Until next time, I am Chef Kibby, and I will see you guys in the kitchen. Thank you very much. Hey, good morning.